Stop scrolling because in the last 2 minutes, everything in the WNBA just exploded. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation barely out of college, just signed a mind-bending $13 billion endorsement mega deal that's not only breaking records, it's breaking friendships, locker rooms, and hearts. Jealousy, that's an understatement. The WNBA has never seen anything like this, and the emotional fallout. It's immediate, messy, and oh so public. Sources confirm the deal spans multiple industries: luxury fashion, tech, media, and of course, sportswear, making Caitlin the first female athlete in history to cross the $13 billion mark. Let that sink in. She's now richer than LeBron's lifetime deal, than Serena's entire career earnings, and almost every WNBA player combined. The league was stunned, teammates gasped, coaches scrambled, and rivals, oh, they're furious. Within minutes of the news dropping, the shady posts started. One veteran star tweeted, "Imagine skipping the grind and cashing in on hype." Another posted a cryptic story. "Some of us earned it in silence, others just showed up with cameras." Fans are ripping each other apart in the comments. Some are cheering Caitlin on as a revolutionary. Others are calling her a media-made mirage. But everyone agrees on one thing: nothing will ever be the same. Behind the scenes, tension is skyrocketing. We're hearing whispers of heated locker room exchanges, jealous friends turning cold, and even a confrontation at a charity event that left attendees speechless. And the most shocking part, Caitlin's own inner circle may be cracking under pressure. Her boyfriend, silent, her longtime coach, avoiding interviews. Her former best friend just unfollowed her. Is Caitlin Clark rewriting history or ripping the league apart? Get ready, because what we're about to reveal is bigger than the deal itself. Caitlin Clark had always been a force on the court, but no one, not her teammates, not her rivals, not even the most seasoned agents could have predicted what was about to unfold. The basketball prodigy had just inked a $13 billion endorsement deal that stretched across global powerhouses like Nike, Apple, Tiffany & Co., Meta, and a soon-to-launch luxury beverage brand crafted specifically for her. The moment the press release hit, the internet erupted. Her face was everywhere. Street billboards, smartphone screens, even Times Square was lit up in blinding white light, showcasing Caitlin standing tall in a shimmering metallic jersey with one bold caption: "The billion-dollar game has changed." In that instant, Caitlin Clark didn't just make history, she rewrote it. But with every headline came whispers, and those whispers turned to knives. Inside the WNBA locker rooms, tension was so thick it could have snapped a basketball net in half. Some players clapped in public and cursed in private. Others didn't hide their disdain at all. As one anonymous veteran told a gossip blog, "We bled for this league for years, and suddenly she shows up and becomes the face of everything." Please, that ain't basketball, that's politics. The first cracks in Caitlin's world began with her own teammates. At a team dinner the night after the announcement, the mood was awkwardly muted. Normally loud, filled with laughter and banter, the restaurant air felt tight, polite, suffocating. Caitlin walked in fashionably late, her signature confident stride intact, dressed head to toe in a designer outfit from her new fashion sponsor. Her presence made the room shift. Her seat at the table, previously right at the center, was now oddly placed at the corner. Someone had moved it, she noticed. Everyone did. But she didn't say a word. Her best friend on the team, Kiara, avoided eye contact all night. Normally inseparable, Kiara barely offered a smile. Later that night, Caitlin found herself sitting alone in her hotel room scrolling through TikTok, where videos were going viral dissecting not just her deal but her worth. One popular influencer asked bluntly, "Does Caitlin Clark really deserve $13 billion? Or is she just a pretty face with a PR machine?" The comments were savage. She hasn't even played a full season. What about legends like Maya? This is disrespect to the OGs. It was a side of fame Caitlyn hadn't prepared for, admiration laced with venom. Still, the next morning she showed up to practice. Chin high, game face on. But something had shifted. During warm-ups, no one passed her the ball without being prompted. During drills, small jokes were cracked low enough that coaches wouldn't hear, loud enough for Caitlyn to feel. "Hope you don't break a nail," someone said after she fumbled a pass. "Can your contract cover rebounds too?" chuckled another. Caitlyn kept her cool, but inside, she was boiling. This wasn't about the game anymore. It was about envy, about hierarchy. And now that she was officially the highest-paid woman in sports, she was no longer just a player, she was a walking reminder of what others hadn't achieved. But the most devastating blow came from someone she never expected, her college coach, who had mentored her, protected her, and pushed her to greatness. In an exclusive podcast episode that dropped just days after the deal, he made a comment that shattered Caitlyn's heart. Greatness is built on humility, and sometimes when you hand someone the crown too early, they forget they're still supposed to earn it. Fans were stunned. This was the man who had once said Caitlyn was the future of basketball. Had he turned to? Caitlyn listened to the podcast in her private gym at 3 a.m. after yet another sleepless night of doom scrolling. She replayed the clip 5 times. Then she texted him. Just one sentence. "So this is what loyalty looks like." He never responded. Meanwhile, Nike and the other companies were thrilled with the chaos. To them, controversy meant clicks. Headlines meant engagement, and Caitlyn. She was trending 24/7, but the world she knew was shifting fast. Her inner circle began to crumble. Her high school best friend, Sadie, posted a now viral Instagram story showing an old picture of them at a sleepover. The caption read, "She said she'd never change. She lied." Fans were quick to dig deeper. Turns out, Caitlyn had recently ghosted Sadie after promising to fly her out to her first pro game, an invitation that mysteriously disappeared once the brand deals started stacking up. The betrayal was real, and fans had receipts, even her boyfriend, Noah, quiet, grounded, camera-shy, had started to feel the weight. Paparazzi caught him outside a coffee shop talking animatedly to another woman. The blogs pounced. Caitlyn's $13 billion success is killing her relationship, one tabloid screamed. The truth, Noah had told her he was feeling left behind, that her life was moving too fast, that he didn't even recognize her anymore. Caitlyn, exhausted and emotionally stretched, told him she needed space, which, in her world, usually meant goodbye. In the locker room, Kiara finally snapped. It happened after a press conference where Caitlyn, asked about her deal, said, "I hope this shows girls everywhere that hard work pays off." Kiara confronted her the next day, her voice trembling. "Hard work? So what? The rest of us are lazy. You think we didn't grind just as hard?" The room went silent. Caitlyn stared at her, stunned. "That's not what I meant." But it didn't matter. The damage was done. Players started walking out. No one came to her defense. The next day, ESPN leaked a report that multiple teammates had filed informal complaints to the union about toxic favoritism and conflicts of interest involving Caitlyn's growing brand influence within the team. The headlines got uglier. Billion-dollar bully? Has Caitlyn Clark outgrown the WNBA already? Hero or headache? Her agents tried to fix things. They scheduled a team retreat, hired crisis PR consultants, even floated the idea of Caitlyn donating a portion of her deal to underpaid players in the league. Caitlyn refused. "I earn every penny," she snapped. "Why should I apologize for it?" But the truth was she was starting to question everything. And then, the document leaked. An anonymous file uploaded to Reddit detailed behind the scenes conversations between Caitlyn's team and sponsors, conversations that included a clause excluding other players from campaign spots if they didn't meet optics standards. One line read, "Protect Caitlyn's image by ensuring only athletes with compatible market presence are featured alongside her." The public was outraged, so now it's not just about skill, it's about image. Screamed one viral tweet. She's not a trailblazer, she's a brand monster. The league was shaken. Caitlyn, once a symbol of hope, was now accused of tearing apart the very league she was supposed to lift. And yet, she still showed up for games. Still dropped 30-point performances. Still gave perfect post-game interviews. But now her eyes were colder, her smile tighter, her teammates more distant, and the world watching her every move like vultures circling a wounded queen. And as Caitlyn sat alone in her hotel room after another hollow victory, staring at her $13 billion contract, a single thought echoed in her mind: was it worth it? Because the empire she built wasn't just made of gold, it was made of glass. And it was already starting to crack. The days that followed felt like a dream teetering on the edge of a nightmare. Caitlyn Clark, hailed as the billion-dollar icon reshaping women's sports, now found herself drowning in a tidal wave of tension, betrayal, and media firestorms. Every court she stepped onto felt like a stage. Every glance from a teammate felt like a judgment, and every question from the press was laced with one quiet implication: do you still think you deserve this? After the leaked Reddit document shattered her reputation further, new claims began surfacing like sharks in blooded water. A former media intern posted a TikTok saying she was told not to let less attractive players near Caitlyn during promotional shots. Another claimed Caitlyn's team requested the league prioritize her flight arrangements before anyone else's. It wasn't about basketball, she said through tears. It was about branding. She became too big for the league. That raised her. Caitlyn was still scoring, still dominating headlines. But now the cheers were laced with side eyes. At an away game in Chicago, fans held up sarcastic signs, #TeamPretty, $13 billion, but no team chemistry. And the most vicious one yet, pass the ball, Your Highness. During warm-ups, Kiara refused to high-five her. A teammate, who once called Caitlyn her little sister, barely looked her way. It was isolation at its peak. The locker room had gone cold. And Caitlyn was left with nothing but the cold steel of her ambition. But perhaps the biggest blow came in the form of a reunion, one she hadn't asked for. Ayanna Rivers, the fierce, outspoken, unapologetic rival Caitlyn had faced back in college, had just been announced as the face of a new Adidas women's campaign. The campaign slogan, Rise Together, a not-so-subtle dig at Caitlyn's perceived solo climb to the top. In the launch video, Ayanna stood arm-in-arm with 5 other WNBA players, all of whom Caitlyn had reportedly distanced herself from. This isn't about one star, Ayanna said in a voiceover. It's about the galaxy. It's about the team. The internet lit up instantly. It was the perfect clapback, the timing, the message, the unity. Fans began drawing battle lines. Team Ayanna versus Team Caitlyn, and then Ayanna made it personal. She appeared on a late-night talk show, sitting cross-legged, casual, poised. The host leaned in. What do you think about the billion-dollar deal? Ayanna paused, smiled politely, and said, money can't buy legacy. Let's see where we all are in 5 years. The crowd gasped. The clip went viral. The comment sections were chaos. Ayanna said it with her chest. She's right. Caitlyn's a moment. Ayanna's a movement. For Caitlyn, it felt like betrayal layered on betrayal. These were players she trained with, dined with, laughed with, and now they were using her name as a cautionary tale. She met with her agent that night in a downtown LA hotel suite. You need to clap back, he said, pacing the room, his phone lighting up every 5 seconds. Drop a video, get back control of the narrative. Cry if you have to. America loves comeback arc. But Caitlyn didn't want tears, she wanted fire. Let's shoot something, she said coldly. Something that reminds them who I am. And that's how the second Nike ad was born. Within 72 hours, a secret production team flew to an undisclosed location. The concept was pure steel. Caitlyn, walking alone through a storm-ridden court, lightning crackling in the distance, her voice echoing over thunder. "I didn't come here to be liked, I came here to be legendary." The ad was designed to shake the foundation of her critics. And it did, only not the way she hoped. When the video dropped, the backlash was immediate. Tone-deaf, narcissistic, a parody of her own arrogance. Even longtime fans said they felt alienated. She's doubling down instead of growing. One tweet read. And perhaps most damning, this isn't confidence, it's contempt. To make matters worse, a screenshot began circulating allegedly from Caitlyn's burner account, where she had liked shady posts dragging other players. Her team denied it, but no one believed them, not anymore. The very next day, Caitlyn received an email from WNBA league officials requesting a meeting to discuss concerns regarding player cohesion and brand conflicts. In other words, the league was starting to see her not just as a controversial figure but as a liability. She showed up to the meeting alone. No agent, no lawyer, just her. Inside, she was grilled. Why hadn't she collaborated with her teammates on her campaign? Why was she rejecting joint interviews? Why had her social media unfollowed nearly every WNBA peer? Caitlyn defended herself with poise. "I didn't unfollow anyone. My team handles that. And I'm open to joint interviews, I just haven't been invited." But the officials weren't convinced. The message was clear. Rein it in or get ready for the consequences. And while all of this was unfolding, a ghost from her past reappeared, Chrissy Malone. Once Caitlyn's closest friend and college roommate, Chrissy had vanished from the public eye after a mysterious fallout during their junior year. But now, just days after Caitlyn's stormy ad dropped, Chrissy uploaded a vlog titled My Story with Caitlyn Clark, the truth no one knows. Within minutes, it exploded. Chrissy, sitting in her sunlit apartment, began calmly, "I never wanted to do this. I've kept quiet for years. But after seeing that new ad, I realized she hasn't changed, not one bit." She went on to describe their friendship as being one-sided, where Caitlyn allegedly gaslit, manipulated, and discarded her once she was no longer useful for image building. "She used me for relatable girl next door content, and when that didn't trend anymore, she iced me out." She then dropped a bombshell. Caitlyn had allegedly orchestrated Chrissy's removal from a major college sports award consideration by sending a private email to the selection committee questioning her mental focus. The receipt, a partial screenshot from a college email with redacted names, but the implication was deadly. Whether or not it was real didn't matter. The damage was. For Caitlyn, it was a waking nightmare. Every headline was an attack. Every former friend had a new story to share. Even her own family started to shrink away. Her cousin unfollowed her. Her sister posted a cryptic quote about choosing ego over love. The silence from her parents was louder than any accusation. And yet, despite everything, Caitlyn still played. She still dropped 30-point games. She still led her team in assists, but no one celebrated her like before. The air after a win felt different, stale, resentful. Reporters stopped asking about the game and started asking about the drama. "Do you think you've lost the locker room?" one asked bluntly. Caitlyn stared blankly, then said, "You can't lose something that was never yours to begin with." A week later, a photo went viral of Caitlyn eating lunch alone during a team road trip. In the background, the rest of the squad was huddled at another table, laughing. A social media user captioned it, "The loneliest $13 billion ever spent." And just when Caitlyn thought the storm couldn't possibly get worse, it did. Her boyfriend Noah, after weeks of silence, appeared on a podcast and delivered a painful truth. She changed, not just because of the fame but because of how it made her feel about everyone else. She stopped trusting, she stopped listening. She started thinking she was invincible. The podcast was clipped and shared everywhere. Fans and haters alike had something to say, and Caitlyn. She sat in her suite that night, watching the clip on. Loop. Every sentence felt like a dagger. She had everything she'd ever dreamed of: money, fame, power. But she had never felt more alone. And then came the league ultimatum. The email was short, sterile, and punctuated with an urgency Caitlin Clark couldn't ignore. Due to increasing concerns regarding team dynamics and public perception, we request your immediate presence at a closed-door executive meeting with league stakeholders. Non-compliance may result in disciplinary review. Caitlin stared at the screen in silence. No greetings, no pleasantries. No acknowledgement of her MVP stats, her billion-dollar deals, her role in skyrocketing WNBA ratings. Just a summons, like she was some PR liability and inconvenience. The meeting was scheduled in New York, but Caitlin insisted it happen virtually. "I have a game in 48 hours, she said flatly. "If the league wants to talk, they can do it on my time." It was the kind of cold, controlled power move that left even her inner circle speechless. Some admired it, others feared it. Caitlin was no longer playing defense, she was playing chess. And every move calculated. When the Zoom began, the atmosphere was tense. A grid of faces: league officials, PR managers, sponsors, coaches. The commissioner led the charge. "Caitlin," she began, her tone clipped, "we're facing unprecedented backlash. Your brand has eclipsed your role as a team player. We need a solution." Caitlin, calm and collected, leaned into her camera. "I didn't come here to blend in. I came to build something no one's ever built. You think that comes without enemies?" Murmurs erupted. One Nike exec attempted to smooth things over. "We believe in Caitlin's vision, but we also need to ensure the league doesn't fracture around her." Then came the bombshell request. "We want you to participate in a full league unity campaign. Press, photo shoots, interviews, reunite with teammates, collaborate with rivals. Humanize yourself again." Caitlin blinked. "You want me to fake unity?" The commissioner stiffened. "We want you to rebuild bridges publicly now." But Caitlin had already decided. "Fine," she said. After a long pause, "I'll play nice. But I'm not apologizing for success." What followed was one of the most surreal PR stunts in sports history. Deb's Sisterhood Recharged. The campaign featured Caitlin side-by-side with Ayanna Rivers, Kiara, and even Chrissy Malone. Photo ops, mock interviews, charity clinics. The public bought it at first. "They're growing up." The headlines read, "Healing begins, but behind the scenes, a volcano." Ayanna refused to speak to Caitlin off camera. Kiara walked off set twice. At one shoot, Chrissy reportedly muttered under her breath, "She's lucky they pay us for this." Caitlin smiled through it all, giving polished answers and poised smiles, but every frame felt like a hostage video. The pressure was unbearable. Her handlers monitored every word she said. No ad-libs, no shade, no digs, they warned. One wrong sentence, and it's over. Caitlin was beginning to realize she wasn't controlling the narrative anymore. She was the narrative scripted and manufactured by a league desperate to spin her success into something palatable. And then came the second leak. A private text message thread between Caitlin and her agent surfaced online. Screenshots showed Caitlin venting after a team shoot, saying, "I'm sick of babysitting egos. Let them drown in mediocrity. I'll still be winning rings." The backlash was nuclear. Sports Twitter detonated. "This is heel stan," one user wrote. Caitlin Clark doesn't see teammates, she sees obstacles. The league panicked. "Distance yourself." They begged her, say it was photoshopped. But Caitlin refused. "I'm not going to lie. I said it. I meant it." The WNBA issued a generic statement about private frustrations in high-pressure environments, but the damage was done. The Unity campaign was quietly canceled. Sponsors began holding back payments. One of Caitlin's fashion brands postponed her capsule drop indefinitely. But amidst the chaos, Caitlin played the best basketball of her life. Game after game, she was unstoppable. Crossovers that dropped defenders, threes from half court. Buzzer beaters that left crowds breathless. Commentators were conflicted. "You can't teach that level of dominance," one said, but is it worth the toxicity? Others asked. It was as if Caitlyn was challenging the world. Hate me, love me, just watch me. Still, the cost was becoming unbearable. Her relationship with Noah was officially over. Her sister publicly unfollowed her. A childhood mentor issued a public statement. "I don't know the woman she's become." And then the most unexpected betrayal of all, her own mother gave an interview. In a sit-down with a lifestyle magazine, Caitlyn's mom, previously silent through the entire saga, spoke out. "She's brilliant, no doubt, but I miss my daughter. The one who laughed without cameras, the one who used to call home just to talk about her day." The interviewer asked if fame had changed her. Her mother hesitated. "No, I think it revealed her." That single quote trended worldwide. Caitlyn didn't respond, not publicly, but the following week, she missed practice. For the first time ever, rumors spread fast. She's done. She's breaking down. This is the end. And then came the photo. Caitlyn, alone at a beach, no makeup, in a hoodie, staring at the ocean. A paparazzo captured it from a distance. It went viral with the caption, "Even $1 billion. Girls get tired." For 48 hours, she went dark. No posts, no press, no court, and then a notification shook the internet. Caitlyn Clark Live, Sunday, no sponsors, just me. The live stream countdown ignited a media storm. Every blog, every sports page, every news anchor speculated. Would she apologize, retire, expose the league? Theories ranged from a tell-all to a breakdown, but no one was ready for what Caitlyn had planned. The stream opened with Caitlyn sitting in front of a plain wall, dressed in all black, hair tied back. The chat exploded. Over 4 million people tuned in live. No intro music, no graphics, just her. And the first thing she said was, "You wanted real." Here it is. She took a deep breath and then she began. She didn't cry. She didn't rant. She spoke about every headline, every betrayal, every moment of loneliness. "You think money makes you invincible?" she asked. "Try waking up every day knowing half the world hates you and the other half wants to be you." She spoke about Noah. "He was my anchor. I let go of him chasing storms." She mentioned Chrissy. "She betrayed me long before I ever shut her out." She addressed the locker room. "I didn't stop being a teammate. They stopped being a team." Then she leaned in and whispered the words that shook the internet. "I don't want to be your role model anymore." She stared into the camera. "You don't want the truth. You want someone who pretends they don't bleed. Well, guess what? I'm bleeding, and I'm still standing." The stream ended with one sentence. "If this ruined me, so be it. But at least it was mine." No outro, no brand, just static, and the world silent. For a few moments, even the haters didn't know what to say, but Caitlyn, she had finally taken back control. And as the screen went black, one question remained. What happens to a queen who burns her own throne? The morning after Caitlyn Clark's livestream, the entire sports world stood frozen, holding its collective breath. No one could deny what they had just witnessed. It wasn't a breakdown. It wasn't a PR stunt. It was a reckoning, raw, unfiltered, and unsettling. Fans, critics, even former haters admitted one thing. She said everything out loud we never thought she'd dare confess. The YouTube clip was trending #1 globally. Reels exploded. Headlines screamed in bold. Caitlyn Clark breaks silence and breaks free. But what shocked everyone wasn't the confessions, it was the aftermath. Caitlyn didn't disappear. She didn't hide. She showed up. Just 36 hours after her soul-bearing stream, she walked onto the court for a primetime nationally televised game. No entourage, no security swarm, no diamond-encrusted headphones or billion-dollar shoes. Just Caitlyn, hair tied, back, black jersey, eyes like a hurricane. The crowd erupted when she appeared, half cheers, half boos, all attention. She was the headline, the villain, the heroine. The question mark in motion, and that night. She didn't just play, she performed. A basketball opera, 45 points, 12 assists, 3 steals. 1 buzzer beater. It was poetry, not just a win but a message. A statement of control. You wanted a monster. She seemed to say with every dribble. Well, here she is, and she's magnificent. Social media flipped upside down. How do you hate someone who owns their flaws and still dominates? Asked one tweet, another said, "This is Joker meets Jordan. She's terrifyingly real." Even some of her fiercest rivals posted begrudging respect. Ayanna Rivers reposted the game highlight with the caption, "You can't deny greatness." "But I still won't kneel to it." Caitlyn reposted it with just a crown emoji, war, silent and brutal. And then came the brand fallout. One by one, sponsors made their moves. Nike, after weeks of being caught between media fires and internal board debates, doubled down. They released a new campaign less than 48 hours after her stream titled and crowned. The ad featured Caitlyn's livestream audio playing over footage of her training in solitude. No teammates, no glam, just sweat, bruises, and thunder. The final line, she never wanted to be your favorite, she just wanted to win. It became the most shared Nike commercial since Dream Crazy. Other brands weren't as loyal. A luxury skincare company pulled out, citing image misalignment. A streaming service paused development on a biopic project. Fashion houses grew silent, but for every door that closed, another swung wide open. An edgy new podcast platform offered Caitlyn her own show. A streaming giant reached out for a docuseries deal with creative control. A leading sports media company reportedly offered her $80 million for exclusive rights to her post-game thoughts. Her value wasn't shrinking, it was mutating. Meanwhile, inside the league, unrest was growing. The WNBA board called another emergency session. Not about punishing Caitlyn, but about how to keep her. She had become both their greatest asset and their most volatile storm. The question on every executive's mind was simple. What happens if Caitlyn leaves? Because rumors were swirling. Caitlyn had been spotted in closed-door meetings with European Basketball League representatives. Whispers said they were offering her full ownership of a new franchise plus salary, endorsements, and executive power. Another rumor suggested she was exploring a groundbreaking deal with a co-ed league launching in Dubai, designed to blend male and female stars in one unified global format. If she signs that deal, one insider leaked, it's game over for the WNBA as we know it. The league scrambled. The commissioner offered a private one-on-one dinner. Caitlyn refused. A board member proposed revamping the league's image around her journey, controversy and all. Caitlyn's response, "I'm not your story. I'm your warning." Then, just when the dust started to settle, the deepest cut came not from a rival, not from a sponsor, but from home. A journalist uncovered leaked voice messages between Caitlyn's estranged sister and a tabloid editor. In them, the sister vented about Caitlyn's behavior. She thinks she's a god. She hasn't called mom in 2 months. She's chasing legacy while forgetting the people who gave her a name. The audio went viral. Public sympathy turned again. The pain of family wounds felt too real, too intimate. The court of public opinion was back in session and Caitlyn was once again on trial. But this time, she didn't react. She didn't go live, didn't tweet, didn't release a statement. She went silent. And in that silence, something even more shocking happened. Kiara, her once best friend turned bitter teammate, spoke up. In a candid podcast episode titled Behind the Locker Room, Kiara shocked everyone by saying, "Look, I judged her too fast. We were all jealous. We didn't want to admit it, but her shine scared us. She became something none of us were prepared to face, not even Caitlyn herself." The episode went viral, the comments overwhelmingly supportive. Other players slowly began to echo the sentiment. Not everyone forgave, but the conversation changed. Maybe we expected perfection from someone still figuring it out. Maybe the problem isn't her, it's how fast we crowned her without asking if she wanted the throne. And then, in the biggest twist of all, Caitlin Clark did something no one saw coming. She stepped away. Just as playoff buzz was heating up, Caitlin announced she would take a brief mental health break. "This isn't goodbye," her statement read. "This is breath. This is pause. This is peace." The internet again ignited. Supporters flooded her socials with encouragement. Even critics were forced to admit after everything she had endured, maybe she deserved that breath. And in her absence, the league noticed something frightening. The ratings dropped. The headlines went dry. The energy shifted. Love her or hate her, Caitlin was the pulse of the WNBA. Without her, the heartbeat slowed. When she finally returned, weeks later, walking back into the stadium tunnel, the cameras didn't even wait for tip-off. The flashbulbs exploded. The cheers roared louder than the hate. Her teammates lined up this time, one by one, offering high fives, quiet nods, silent respect. No words, just acknowledgement. And as she stepped onto the court for the first time in a month, her face calm, her hands steady, the commentators whispered, "Is this her redemption arc?" But Caitlin Clark didn't need redemption. Because somewhere along the way, she stopped chasing a perfect image and started embracing the imperfect truth. She wasn't built to be your flawless hero. She was built to be real. And in a world of curated legends, she chose chaos. She chose honesty. She chose herself. Now it's no longer about a $13 billion deal. It's about a legacy carved out of controversy, tears, grit, and glory. And no matter how loud the noise gets, Caitlin Clark has proven one thing: she never needed anyone to hand her a crown. She brought her own. And just like that, the storm that Caitlin Clark walked into, she owned. From billion-dollar headlines to locker room betrayals, from public breakdowns to power plays that shook the WNBA to its core, Caitlin didn't just survive the chaos, she thrived in it. Haters tried to cancel her. Teammates tried to ice her out. The league didn't know whether to embrace her or eject her. But Caitlin, she kept moving, kept scoring, kept dominating. Because beneath all the drama, the scandals, the family fractures, and the sponsorship wars, one truth remained: she was built different. She didn't fit into anyone's box. Not the media's, not the league's, not even her own inner circles. And maybe that's what scared people the most, that she wasn't just talented, she was uncontrollable, unapologetic, and crowned. And still, she rose. But now we turn it over to you, our audience. What do you think? Is Caitlin Clark the ultimate role model or the warning shot for how fame devours authenticity? Was she the villain in her own story, or the only one brave enough to stop pretending? She wasn't. Did she fracture the sisterhood of the WNBA? Or did she expose the fake unity that was never real to begin with? We want to hear your hot takes in the comments. Whose side are you on, Caitlin's, Ayana's? Or maybe team everybody's messy and no one's perfect? Don't hold back, drop your thoughts, your theories, your feelings. And if this saga had you hooked, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild behind-the-scenes sports drama, and slam that bell icon so you never miss the next bombshell. Because in the world of billion-dollar queens and courtside chaos, the story is never over. Thanks for watching. See you next scandal.